Welcome back to On the Rise with the latest CanMNT news, and this was an incredible weekend for CanMNT footballers and supporters, as today was an incredible and perfect way to wrap up a exciting weekend in the world of CanMNT football for, of course, our ballers abroad for their respective clubs, as well in North America, as we saw multiple goals, multiple assists, and even some silverware being lifted, with the likes of Alphonso Davies, Andreas Brym, and so many players finding themselves getting goal contributions. We're going to be breaking it all down. Before we do, guys, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought of all the performances and what you guys made of this exciting weekend of cross CanMNT football. As well, drop a like and a sub, and let me know what you guys think about the daily uploads around everything CanMNT throughout the day. But we're going to jump straight into things. But before we go into and break down each game by game from the day, I gotta wrap up the goals, the assists, and the silverware that we saw our players get throughout this incredible weekend. As we saw Alphonso Davies kick off the Bundesliga campaign with Bayern Munich this past Friday, landing himself 2 assists for the Bayern Munich side in their season as they go to repeat once again, and of course assisting Harry Kane on Friday for his debut goal, as well seeing 2 goals from Andreas Brym for his Sparta Rotterdam, and absolutely kicking it off against Feynoord, the reigning champions, in a huge match for Andreas Brym, which we will be diving into in just a second, and even seeing Jonathan David for LOSC Lille getting a goal himself this morning, and even Tajon Buchanan scoring from right back today for Club Bruges, and Marco Bustos yesterday getting a goal for IFK Varnamo in their 3-0 victory. As well, seeing the likes of Liam Millar getting a brace in the Swiss Cup for FC Basel, and even Theo Corbeanu landing an assist for Grasshoppers. As well, Patrick Metcalf seeing himself get 2 assists. But moving on to the silverware, Andreas Brym landed a Man of the Match award, which was absolutely deserved in a top performance from himself as well as his club side in Sparta Rotterdam. As well, one more victory, one more silverware, and the biggest of the weekend in Kamal Miller, who won the League's Cup, of course, with Inter Miami and Lionel Messi, as well as the likes of Sergio Busquets and Jordi Alba. A huge win for Inter Miami, going the distance, seeing 3 Canadians score in the penalty shootout. Whether it was Jacob Schaffelberg, Lucas McNaughton, and Kamal Miller, they all had great performances. And for me, I wasn't cheering for either side. I wanted to see just a great game all around and to see our Canadians play well, and they did absolutely that. Great game from Jacob Schaffelberg and Lucas McNaughton, but we saw Kamal Miller and Inter Miami lift the League's Cup, and let me know what you guys think about that, and of course the Lionel Messi effect in the MLS. But I will be wrapping up all the goals, all the assists, all the silverware on a weekend recap video tomorrow. But today we're going to be breaking down all the matches because there was a lot of excitement to look into from today, as we saw goals, assists, contributions, and victories from our Canadian men's national team players, as today was a massively much more exciting day than yesterday was for the CanMNT player pool, as today saw Sparta Rotterdam, Andreas Brym get the start, get the nod up front as the number 9 for Sparta Rotterdam against the reigning champions in Feynoord, and they came away with a 2-2 result, a 2-2 draw, with Andreas Brym scoring 2 goals in 14 minutes, landing himself a 8.8 match rating on FootMob with the Man of the Match award. Of course, seeing another fellow CONCACAF player in Santiago Jimenez scoring for Feyenoord as well. And this is very interesting for me. As you guys know, if you've been following the channel for months or quite a while, I'm a huge supporter of Andreas Brym. I'm a huge fan of Andreas Brym, and I always have. Going back to the World Cup, even when he was playing in the 2nd division for Eindhoven, I've always loved what Andreas Brym brought. I know a lot of CanMNT fans always looked at Andreas Brym and said, we can't have a player playing in the 2nd division of the Dutch Footballing League. He's not good enough. He shouldn't be playing with the national side. I don't see why he's with the national side. But here it is. He's truly proved it. He's gotten his chance in one of the best leagues in world football. I know you can diss the Eredivisie if you want. You might not watch on a consistent basis like I do, but it is on football. It is on One Soccer. You can go watch the Eredivisie and Andreas Brym. And this is arguably, if not one of the top 5, one of the top 6 leagues in world football. Look at some of the competition. Feynoord, Ajax, AZ Alkmaar. There's some brilliant footballing sides in here who always make a good run in the Champions League, Europa League. And what he has proven himself here is miles ahead. And you had people in CONCACAF looking at Santiago Jimenez and comparing him to Jonathan David, the likes of Florian Balogun, and saying, is Jimenez better than David? Is he better than Balogun? And you had people rising Jimenez up to the top and raining on his parade like he is one of the best. Well, he is one of the best strikers in CONCACAF, but talking so highly of him like he is by far the best striker in CONCACAF. So now Canadian fans have to take an eye on Andreas Brym, a player who's done it against the best team in the Eredivisie in Feyenoord and put away 2 goals. He looked absolutely brilliant. Didn't get, of course, a huge amount of touches on the ball, but when he had the ball, he was very clinical. He took his chances and was brilliant in front of goal. This is one thing we need with the national team. When we've had our chances sometimes in front of goal, whether it was at the World Cup, whether it was at the Gold Cup, Nations League, sometimes Lair and David, they struggle to take their chances and be clinical in front of goal. I'm not saying Brym is more clinical than David or Laren, but I'm saying this match, Brym didn't get a lot of chances. He didn't get a lot of touches. He didn't get a lot coming his way. And that is saying for 74 minutes on the pitch before he got subbed out, he managed 2 goals. But he only had 15 touches on the ball, guys, which is truly incredible. With those 15 touches, 3 of them were shots. Andreas Brym was extremely clinical, guys, and that is a huge thing we have to note. You look at our player pool. Larin, David, Tajon, Alfonso, they can struggle to be clinical in front of goal sometimes. Like I said just a minute ago, I'm not going to say Brym is better in front of goal than those other bowlers that we have on the national side. But they do struggle sometimes to put the ball in the back of the net and take their chances, and that is one thing Canada will always have to do. We're not going to create like 10, 15 chances per game. We have to be clinical. John Herdman said it before. If we have 1, 2, 3, 4 chances a game, you got to take those chances, especially when they're high quality chances in front of goal. And Brym did it here today, only having 15 touches, very clinical in front of goal, taking his chances when they came his way. Andreas Brym proved on the highest stage against the reigning champions in the Eredivisie why he is ready for that level. I said it last year, he proved himself time and time again with Eindhoven, and then he finally gets his chance at Sparta Rotterdam, and he takes it. And I'm very excited to see him build on this form and continue to rise to the top with Sparta Rotterdam. This is a very good Sparta Rotterdam side. I like some of the players that they have. I think they have a chance to continue to rise in this league, especially if Andreas Brym can bring up that form. They are going to have a great season. And now a lot of the Canadian fans, like I said, have to take an eye on Andreas Brym. Because the fan base for a while, when I was boasting him up, when I was talking to them about him, was shooting me down, saying he's not good enough, he shouldn't be in the national team setup, he shouldn't be in it for a second division player in Holland. Now he's in the first division, doing it against one of the best, for quotation marks, strikers in CONCACAF. Everyone has to take an eye on him now. He deserves to be in the player pool. I've said this for a long time. He deserves to be our number 3 striker, number 4 striker. He is right behind Larin and David and the likes of Ike Ugbo, and we have some great striker depth. We have the best striker depth in CONCACAF, guys. Larin, David, Brym, Ugbo, Bear. We have some brilliant strikers, and I'm probably missing 1 or 2, and I know I am missing somebody in that pool as well. But the fact that Brym was looked upon last year and said, oh, he's in the second division of Dutch football, he's not good enough for the Canadian men's national team, he shouldn't be invited to the World Cup, he shouldn't have been invited to the Nations League, second division in Holland isn't good enough. He's proved it here. He's proved it massively. I know I've talked about this for some time now in the videos, and especially in this one, it's a huge rant, and I'm really going to rant about this because he's needed to be given his respect, and he's truly deserved it today. I'm gonna move to the next side, but that is a position and a player who I have always adored. I thought he was an amazing player of the national side, and he can bring so much to this team. And what Andreas Brym can continue to bring to the national team and can fill in for David Larin, be with Ugbo is extremely exciting, especially when he's still decently young. But moving away from the Charles Andreas Brym talk, guys, we had some more extremely exciting performances, as we had a 7-1 thumping, with Club Brugge winning 7-1 against RWB in the Jupiler Pro League in the first division in Belgian football, as Tajon Buchanan started the game once again from right back. I said this a couple videos ago. I saw him at the start of the season under Ronny Deila starting at right back, and I questioned it. I questioned it a little bit in one video, and then I took a seat back. I saw him in another game, and I'm like, this is very interesting. He's looking very exciting. A lot of free-flowing football down that right-hand flank, working very well with Robert Skov Olsen, and it started to flourish, and I started taking an eye to it, and I really started to like it. And under a very good manager in Ronny Deila, this Club Brugge side is scoring for absolute fun. And I'm going to be very excited to see how he can keep growing. But besides that, he did manage to score a goal once again, guys, as Tajon Buchanan scored in the 77th minute in a 7-1 thumping for Club Brugge, going the full 90 minutes, having a 7.6 match rating, and is very exciting. What we've seen from Tajon Buchanan has been absolutely brilliant. And I did one video compare him to the likes of Alphonso Davies at fullback, because you look at the two players, they're extremely skillful, they're very quick, and their acceleration and breakout speed is phenomenal. And what you get from Tajon Buchanan is that free-flowing attacking style football, and what he brings to Club Brugge and what he could bring to the national side is of course an exciting burst of pace and skillful ability at that right back side. And this is why I really think Canada needs to be playing a 4-3-3. It is by far the formation we should be going with. Gets our best players in their best positions. It gives us a lot more excitement going forward. And of course, a lot more stable midfield with a 3-man midfield, and it's a lot more solid. And you have that creativity and that tracking back from both wingers, and the creativity from your fullbacks as well. But where I compare Tajon Buchanan even more to Alphonso Davies is his breakout pace and his acceleration. When you see a lot from Alphonso Davies, especially when he played Mo Salah in pre-season, was that burst of pace, that breakout speed. It's his recovery ability. And what you see from Tajon Buchanan is, of course, he's not winning a crazy amount of ground duels. That's not what his ability is. His ability is his breakout speed and his dribbling ability going forward. And what you saw from Tajon Buchanan again today, yes, he scored, that's incredible, but he still had 5 recoveries. Defensively, he's still been a very good player. He's not just an all-out offense player. When you have that recovery pace and that recovery ability like Tajon Buchanan has, he's able to use that to a high level defensively, and he gets players out and catches them with his speed to an incredibly high level, and consistently does it at a very good level as well. But playing along that right hand side with the likes of Robert Skov Olsen, who had 2 goals and assists with a 9.5 match rating, this is going to be an extremely exciting combo. Now, under Ronny Deila, this side could easily win the league, and I'm absolutely here for it. Guys, CanMNT fans, keep an eye on Club Brugge and Tajon Buchanan at right back, and let me know what you guys think. I want to know if you guys think we should be playing a 4-3-3 with Tajon Buchanan at right back and Alistair Johnston at either center back or right back in rotation with Tajon Buchanan. But alongside that, we had a loss for CanMNT players in Marcus Godinho and Dominck Zator, who both got the start today for Korona Kielce in the Polish First Division, who took a loss to arguably the biggest side in Poland in Legia Warsaw, who lost 1-0 to a goal in the 26th minute from Baku. And of course, I wasn't able to fully watch this game or keep an eye on it, as Korona Kielce did manage to lose 1-0. We did see 2 Canadians get the start. Dominck Zator took up that left center back role and did decently well defensively, having 2 aerial duel wins as well as 4 clearances, 2 headed clearances, 3 recoveries, and even 5 for 8 long balls with 8 passes into the final third, going the full 90. And alongside him, we had it right back in Marcus Godinho, who had a very decent game as well, having a 7-match rating, who also went the full 90, having the full match, having 49 touches with 3 passes into the final third. Alongside that, a very good defensive performance, with 3 for 3 tackles won, 4 clearances, 3 headed clearances, and even 2 recoveries for the 26-year-old Canadian right back, alongside that having 3 for 4 ground duels won. Overall, despite the loss for Corona Kielce, our Canadians did stand strong and played very well in a very exciting match in the Polish First Division. But another game for a top Canadian, arguably one of our best players, in Stefan Eustauio. Playing in the midfield too alongside Nicolas Gonzalez, Stefan Eustachio's Porto, FC Porto, took a 2-1 win today against Feynoord, as they won with a 90-plus 10-minute goal from Marcano, as Stefan Eustachio managed to go the distance, playing the full 90, as he did finish on a 7.2 match rating, alongside his midfield partners in Mehdi Taremi, who dropped back to play a number 10 role, and Nicolas Gonzalez, who played alongside him in the holding midfield roles. Stefan Eustachio was the only midfielder who did go the full 90 outside of his 2 wingers, Godinho and Pepe. It was a huge match for Stefan Eustachio, who continues to build fitness and to rise to the top of where he used to be last season for the likes of FC Porto and of course Sergio Conceição's side, as this was a huge match for FC Porto, as they absolutely dominated running this game, having a 1.99 XG with 32 shots to the likes of their 8. A brilliant match for FC Porto, who continue to rise this season with Stefan Eustachio, as we had so much more action with 3 other games in store, and 2 of them involving our center backs, and arguably, in my opinion, our starting 2 center backs, who I'd want to see in a back 4, as Wolfsberger AC took a 0-0 draw to Austria Vienna, as our man Scott Kennedy started in the left side of a center back role in a 3 in the back system, or a 5 in the back, of course, however they decided to line up offensively or defensively. As Scott Kennedy did finish this game on a 6.8 match rating, and when you guys want to watch Austrian football, I'm not sure if you guys do, Scott Kennedy is able to be watched on OneFootball, which is very exciting for a lot of Canadians trying to keep a watch on all of our CanMNT ballers. As Scott Kennedy did manage a 22 for 29 accurate passes, which was a 76% on the match, having 42 touches along with 2 passes in the final third. But that is not where I want to look. Defensively, this is why I believe Scott Kennedy is one of our best center backs, having 4 clearances, 2 headed clearances, alongside an interception and 4 recoveries, who is decently quick in the run, but as well winning 2 ground tackles out of his 3, and even earning himself 2 fouls. I love what Scott Kennedy can bring to a game, and personally, in a 4 in the back system, I'd love to see Canada line up the likes of Alphonso Davies, Derek Cornelius, Scott Kennedy, and either Alistair Johnston or Tajon Buchanan, depending on the opponent. But looking at that 4 in the back, it would be extremely exciting. I know a lot of coaches and managers don't like to go with 2 left-footed center backs in a back 4. That is the only downfall to a Scott Kennedy and Derek Cornelius partnership, is them both left-footed center backs as their primary. But personally, I think it would work. I think it'd be a great fit with the mix of pace, aerial ability, and of course, you look at the Canadian men's national team center back pool, the best center backs right now are all left-footed. Kamal Miller, Scott Kennedy, and Derek Cornelius are only right-footers right now, or Steven Vittoria, who I think could easily suit in a 4 in the back. Of course, we still have Zach McGraw, and even we need to keep an eye on Dan Nimick, who I think should be working his way into the CanMNT player pool and could play in a brilliant back 4, as he has been all season for the HFX Wanderers. But with 2 more performances to look at, we now switch to Sweden, where Derek Cornelius, the other center back who I've been talking about, had a match for Malmo in their title charge, as they sit in 3rd place in the division for Malmo FF. The 25-year-old Canadian center back managed to go the distance, playing 90 minutes, having a 7.6 match rating, and looked absolutely phenomenal once again. Derek Cornelius has been unbelievable since making his move to Malmo FF, as he managed a 93% accurate passing rating with 98 touches, and defensively a unit, winning 1 foul, but along with 10 recoveries 3 interceptions, 2 headed clearances, and 4 clearances. Derek Cornelius is a rock, guys, and that is why he needs to be lining up in a back 4 for Canada as the left center back. Him alongside Alphonso Davies, any defense wouldn't be able to beat that in CONCACAF. It'd be extremely exciting, hard to break down with that pace and such a unit. But moving on from that, we had one more performance, guys, and it was Jonathan David. And if you wanted to catch this one in Canada, you had to be up my time at 5 a.m. as LOSC Lille took on Nantes in Ligue 1, with Jonathan David scoring in the 66th minute. As he did finish his match on a 8-match rating, but he did come off in the 99th minute after scoring a goal. The real problem here for Jonathan David is he had a great goal, scoring a tap-in like he usually does with his amazing nous in front of goal. He only had 17 touches. This LOSC Lille side struggle to create chances for their number 9 up front in Jonathan David. Jonathan David only having 17 touches is something I'm extremely worried about. As a CanMNT supporter, you just look at the LOSC Lille side around David, they've sold everyone. They literally have. Behind David, they have Remy Cabella, Haraldson, Segova, and for me, I'm not too excited by those options that are going to create for Jonathan David. Jonathan David is one of the best strikers, most prolific, most crucial, clinical in front of goal, and you have no creative ability behind him. It's very scary. The fact that he still managed to score today is unbelievable when he only had 17 touches. It's going to be hard for him to keep up the likes of 20 plus goals like he did last year. I think that's I know it's asking a lot from a guy who scored 20 goals last year might be, you could say, a bit ridiculous, but for me, it might be tough for him. He's not getting the ability to have those chances in front of goal, and he doesn't have the creativity behind them. It's hard for a number 9 to create for himself, especially when he's not getting the ball. 17 touches, how is he supposed to score 20 plus goals when he's hardly getting the ball all game? It's going to be very interesting for Jonathan David this season up top for LOSC Lille, and I'd love to hear how much you guys think he will score this season, because it's going to be very interesting to see. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Drop a like, hit that sub button, and we'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.